Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something really sad and upset actually. It's one of the worst things that my narc has ever done. And that's why the thumbnail actually on this video is so dark. And even as scary as the thumbnail is, the nature of a narcissist and who they really are is even scarier. It's the most scariest thing you can imagine. Because the one thing that all narcs have in common, and the one thing that they all do, doesn't matter where they are in life and who is surrounding them, is the fact that they don't have empathy for you or anybody, only themselves. Now, they have emotions. They can get angry and upset at things. But the thing is, they can't feel other people's emotions and hurt. So that doesn't stop them from doing these horrible acts on people. Now, I'll tell you the worst thing that my narc ever did, and it wasn't actually even towards me. It was towards his mom. And I watched the whole thing unfold, and it's scary. So if you're looking at the face of the thumbnail as the narcissist, this is the way he's looking at his own mother and the way he feels about her or anybody else in his life, because they don't feel anything, and they're really demonic on a very basic level. And that's why you need to be scared of them and get away from them. And don't think you're going to try and change them. And I've said this before on a few other videos. So what my narc did to his mom is that quite a few years ago, I think it started in 2005, long before I had met him. He had bought, he wanted buy a commercial building for his fitness school. And then, but he didn't have the funds for it. He was still very young, so he started to get a lot of investors involved, and pretty much were all his students, each of them were giving him like $10,000 so he can put up enough money to buy this commercial building. At the end of the day, he still didn't have enough money, but when narcissists are set and are selling this dream idea, they always act so ambitious and that they're going to be so successful and they're on this new endeavor and join me and it's going to be so great. They're very good at rallying people to their cause and getting money from them. And he did that to a lot of people. And I'll just tell you right now, obviously, the market crashed and he lost the building. And so all those people lost their investment for him. And he fled the country. He never even said he was sorry to any of them. But the worst thing that he did is that his very loving mother, who didn't know really what she was signing, had co-signed the loan for the building because she had one asset in her entire life, and that was her house. And he walked away from the building because he couldn't make the payments and he was underwater on it. And he walked away from the building knowing his mother would lose her house, and she did. She lost, and she had put everything she had. She lived in that house for over 20 years. And the bank just took everything out of it. It was so gut-wrenching, horrible. And it's not even the fact that, maybe he didn't control the markets. It's the fact that he felt zero remorse for his mom losing her house. Because he was making, a few years later, he's a big YouTuber and he's making a lot of money. And I'm like, you gotta help your mom. And he looked at me like this strange look on his face, confused, why would he do that? She signed it. She always does things like this and makes mistakes. It's not me to pay for it. He really thought that what was wrong with me for even thinking that he's not going to pay that back. That was her fault. Everyone took a loss type thing. And he just felt nothing. He was moving on without a beat, because, and only a narcissist can do that to their own mother, because they will treat everyone pretty much the same. He looks at everyone as a value of fuel for them. I gave an example in one of my other videos of me being the octopus and him being the shark. He is a shark, and when I was the octopus and he was eating my arms, it was me, one at a time, like funding all these other ideas he always had, failed business ideas and things like that. You just keep giving and giving, and they'll just keep eating and eating. And when there's nothing left of you, they simply just move on. And that's what he did with his own mother. He doesn't talk to her. She lost everything. He moved on. He's off building a new house with his new supply right now in a different country. And he hasn't talked to his mom in months. And it's just, it's hard to see the evil in a narcissist, because usually when you look at them, they're beautiful. They're always very good looking, and they usually they pay so much attention to their bodies. But if you can peel off that layer, you'll see true evil underneath that. And a lot of people ask me, can you change them and stuff like that? And if you knew what was on the inside, you would know to run from these relationships, because there's nothing but heartache and emptiness if you stay with them. You can't change them or reason with them, or find a ground of like happiness and life with them, because as soon as you've got nothing left, they leave onto the next victim and supply. It's all about supply for them and getting what they can out of you, and it won't matter who you are. So if you have a narcissist in your life, if they're not even your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend, if they're just someone that in your circle of people, or someone you work with, you really need to stand on guard and know who they really are. And honestly, you need to be scared, because they will just suck you dry and move on to the next victim. And that was what he did to his mom was the worst part. Everyone was shocked. I was shocked. How can you do this to your mom and just move on like it's nothing, and not help her or even try to help her or anything? And he just didn't care. He just looked at me when I would ask him. He would just why? Because what's in it for him to help her? He's just going to be at more of a loss. So he's walking away from his own mother. So I know this was a really dark story, and it doesn't really give you a lot of hope or anything in your maybe in your life or your narcissist. But I just wanted to, and I promise my other videos will be a little bit more lighthearted. But I just really wanted to come across of true evil of these people. They may not be murderers, psychopaths will murder you, but you need to be just as scared of them. And I try to not let myself get upset about the discard and the new supply and all the joyride that they're having right now, with their new life. They're posting all over social media how happy they were and how happy they are, and building a new life in a new house. I'm like, I know what's coming in that scenario. So I'm no longer jealous of my ex-narc and his new supply, because I took a peek at his undercarriage, about his true self that he's hiding from the world, and it's scary. So it helps a little bit to heal when you've escaped from that, when you're in heartache because you lost something that you thought was amazing. You need to be happy that you escaped that evil, and because that's what it was. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to leave it at that because I know this topic is so dark, because we're all healing, and once you realize that you've been given a second chance because you're no longer with this person, you're going to start to see the light and heal and start to be happy and look forward to everything that life has to offer as we all move forward with healing post narcissist.